Sirikit Centre for Breast Cancer. We're going to talk with Dr. Kit and his partner in crime, Khunying Finola, about the center and about the foundation that Khunying is doing, and also information about the breast cancer and how to do the checkup. Queen Sirikit, or the Queen's Mother now, once said to you that she would like to make this place as a place for women in Thailand, women in need in Thailand, a place to refuge. Is this the beginning of the story of this center?
Well, in a way it was, but it's a lovely story. My wife and I were invited by the Queen as guests to Sakonnakorn, and one evening the Queen said to us, "Look, we're going to have dinner, a small table under the tree." She said this was where 50, 60 years ago, this was where they had problems with communism and the problem near the border. During dinner, we mentioned to her that Thailand needed a center for breast cancer, and we wanted to build a center that would match the best of European and the best of North American centers. And she very naturally turned around automatically. She said, "Oh, that's a lovely idea. I'd like it to be a center for women in need." And that was the start of how the center got started. And the Queen very kindly gave us her own personal money to get started. That was the start of the beginning of the Queen Sirikit Centre.
And you mentioned to me earlier that the beginning of this, you start from nothing until now. Now we have one of the best technology in Thailand.
Well, I can put it even more simply. When we started off with nothing. But now we are probably the very best center for breast cancer in the entire region.
In Southeast Asia.
Entire region. Well, beyond that too. I mean, I was brought up in the UK. I spent 32 years in the UK before I came back here. I cannot see any center anywhere under one roof with everything available. We probably have the best diagnostic center anywhere. We run our own laboratories, we run our own operating theaters, we run our own research programs under one roof. I cannot think of any center anywhere which is better than this.
Could you please mention about your technologies?
Well, let's go through the list. I mean, diagnostically, most centers would have mammography and ultrasound. Here we have 3D mammography, which is tomosynthesis and ultrasound. We run our own dedicated breast MRI, the only center in this country. We run the first ever center for CT mammography. We run our own thermography research program. We run our own molecular breast imaging. Do you want any more?
Maybe.
Under one roof.
Yeah. Under one roof.
Under one roof.
And I've heard that all of this, both of you have been working really, really hard. And part of it, Khunying also contributed a lot.
Chief slave.
Yes.
Chief
well,
slave.
We have both had the same vision of wanting to build the best breast cancer center for women.
For all women.
For all women.
For all women. Open to all women.
Yeah.
That's key.
But I've heard that some of the patients receive, let's say the patient in need with underprivileged situations, receive the charitable service.
Yes.
Well, I think we probably have to go back about 25 years. I think Khunying Finola started the underprivileged, the slum project. Maybe you could expand on that.
Well,
Please.
we felt that it was really important that we actually go into our neighbouring communities to find women who really were in desperate need and those who would never ever have a chance of having mammography or an ultrasound or any sort of care because that wasn't available to them. So I started going into the slums to actually visit very small foundations. It might have just been a nun living in a community who knows who's who, or it could just be a small foundation doing education, whatever. So I connected with them, then go into the communities, visit their homes, because every penny that we pay for this project, which is a breast screening project and educational, we have to raise the money. So it's a big responsibility to donors to make sure that every baht goes directly to the right people. Now, you know, I think it's fair to say that in slum communities, I'm sure you know, there are different levels of who's who. So I wouldn't know who's who. And obviously looking like a foreigner could be easily, I mean, Jai ben kon Thai ka, I've got a Thai heart, but I can't get away with the outside bit. But I really felt this was important to make sure we knew who was who. So I go to their homes, I visit them, and then I make sure who's who. And then on the second day, we take a team in. We have the social workers volunteering. Everybody volunteers their time outside their hours. So it's got to be at a weekend. So we go in and we teach them about breast cancer, we register them, and also cervical cancer as well. We give them a whole sort of fun lecture, not serious, but information, accurate, but make it fun. So we give them prizes and make it a fun event. They bring their children. And the social workers check too, because they're very smart. They volunteer from the department here at the hospital to figure out who's who as well. So we know we're getting to the right people. Then on the third day, we bring them in here. They have mammography, ultrasound, medical assessment, and all for free because they can't afford it.
And they bring in their children as well.
And then they bring in their children as well. Yeah, and we give them food because they'll say, oh, you know, I don't have time to earn a living.
Ice cream, the pizza, everything.
Well, we give them Thai food as well.
So the whole family comes.
Yeah, so make it a fun day rather than.
And the women have their face made up too.
We just make it a fun day out because for them, many of them have seen breast cancer, and it's horrendous because the cancer tumours have got out of control. And then, you know, I remember Sister Joan was a Catholic nun, used to work in the slums, and she said, before we came along, this was over 20 years ago, that she used to just give them a bottle of rum or alcohol because they were beyond.
To kill the pain.
To take away the pain.
Just to cope with the situation.
Yeah. It was tough. It was tough. But
so when we
anyway,
went in, we would offer help.
So you started 20 years ago,
25.
or more than 20?
Over 20 years
ago.
Yeah.
Up until now, you're continuously working on this.
Yeah.
Why do you see the importance to raise the awareness as a woman as well and as a...
We've experienced over the years, I mean, not only through the work here, that a lot of women, a lot of men as well, they don't have a real understanding of what breast cancer is about. There's a lot of inaccurate information. So we felt, well, you know, we really need to educate women with the right information, accurate information. And that takes away the fear, you know, early detection. I'm talking too much.
No,
I get so excited.
I can remember the first time we went to Spain for a conference, and Queen Finola noticed in Spain they had the breast cancer month, and they had all these programs toward educating women in Spain. And she said to me, well, why can't we do it in Thailand? I mean, Spain, if they can do it in Spain, we can do it here as well. That's how I got started. So I said, look, it's your project, you do it.
And you are here to treat the patient.
Well, I'm here to treat it. I receive whatever. You educate people. And I think you need to have this mass education for Thai women. And that's why when she started doing the campaign.
This is project number 2, which is the awareness campaign with all the famous stars, well-known people in society. And we put a message, accurate message about breast cancer on each photograph and then send it out all over the place.
It's a nice way of introducing concept. You have a picture of, say, a famous film star, and people say, oh, and then you have the message about breast cancer.
So it's like advertising,
Yeah.
but in a clever way. But it's all for free. They donate their time. They're lovely. And we thank them all very much too. Huge appreciation.
But Dr. Kit, since the very beginning of this center and also, alongside you, she set up the foundations. From back then until now, do you find any differences that people are more and more aware of the breast cancer nowadays? Unlike before that women are shy to go and see the doctor.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
frightened.
I see them in the outpatients over the years, over the past 20 odd years. Yes, Thai women are more upfront. They would be more willing to talk about breast cancer and talk about the treatment. You see, the other thing is, we here at the Queen Sirikit Centre, we introduced keeping the breast when treating breast cancer. When I first came to Thailand, it was almost automatic. The breast cancer equals mastectomies. We introduced the concept of keeping the breast and treating breast cancer.
So meaning by that,
No need to
remove
Exactly.
all the
We
breast.
keep
it in the
and,
old
yeah,
traditional
exactly,
way.
exactly.
Because having breast is
Oh, of
something
course.
very emotional for women.
Exactly.
You can talk, I can't.
Yeah. Well, men get breast cancer
Yes,
too, but very rare.
But men don't think
very
much
rare.
about their breast.
No, that's true.
But women
Maybe
do.
they do. Maybe
Yeah.
they do.
But I think the centre has served a number of purposes. I think one, the breast cancer awareness that Khunying has been talking about. I think this goes as a nationwide program. But we at the Queen Sirikit Centre here, we try to set a premium standard, try to be a template that other people can quote. I mean, what we do at Queen Sirikit Centre, we make no profit. We do things simply to serve patients, and our philosophy is we do what's best for patients.
And treat them equally.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely our brief to all our staff, our doctors, our nursing staff. Treat them equally. We don't look at their surnames.
Background. When is the good age? What is a good age for women to be treated or to get it checked yearly?
There's no such thing as a good age, but roughly, I think, provided the person, the woman, has no serious family history or no previous history of breast problems.
Cancer.
I would have thought, by the age of 40, an average person should have at least a checkup, which
The
means
breast checkup.
have an ultrasound, mammography, and have a doctor examine her. Just to have the mammography isn't good enough. This is the problem with European, North American screening programs, because they think that to offer mammography is good enough. It isn't. It isn't.
What is the most questions that you have been asked from your patient?
Simple. Can we prevent breast cancer?
Can we?
Well, the problem, we do not know what is the major cause of breast cancer. If we had known, we could, for example, you can prevent 90% of lung cancer by stop smoking.
But
I can't say that about breast cancer. You talk about food, talk about genetics, talk about environment. They all play a part, but there's not a single major factor that actually, if you stop that, you can stop breast cancer. You can't. Therefore, you can't prevent it. The best thing is to have a normal life. But what you've been saying all along is that you may not be prevented, but you can have an early diagnosis. That is why the campaign is so important.
Can we be treated?
Oh yeah, I mean, early, if you detect it early, breast
Right.
cancer is potentially curable. Potentially curable. That's the message to give.
What
Get it small.
What is the most, let's say, fear of the patients that they come here and
They most of them fear or afraid of knowing they've got breast cancer, which is, you said to me before the interview that you're terrified of finding out. Same thing. You've answered your own question.
Yes, and are the treatment here, are they scary?
I think they go away
Oh,
relieved,
yes.
actually.
I think if the patients are willing to talk, we have the medical staff, and even equally important is the nursing staff. They're the ones, we set up the first ever in this country, what we call the nurse specialist counselors. They see my patient from the very beginning, they get to know the patient, they're being treated like friends, and the patient, when they have problems, they rather talk to my senior nurse than to me. Because, you know, they feel that that's another woman.
They feel closer.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
And we have a support group as well.
So the very important support group we've set up, you see.
Patients
It's all
group.
under the Queen Sirikit Centre.
So you offer not just physical service, but also
Emotional.
Oh yeah,
mental,
emotional as well. Yeah, because I think breast cancer compared with, I mean, I do two big diseases: breast cancer and cancer of the esophagus. The two cancers are totally different in terms of how you approach it. Breast cancer is emotionally charged, whereas the cancer of the esophagus is straightforward, surgical treatment, radiotherapy treatment, chemotherapy treatment. Whereas breast cancer, it's you put it the other way.
It's important for
the
women.
heart is involved as well.
It's very important for women, for the look, for the, you know,
Sure.
how to be feminine.
Exactly.
That's all
exactly.
is it about.
Exactly.
Another question is, you know, not just because all the patients are scared or shy to get themselves treated, but also is this another question of the cost
Yeah, it's
of the treatment?
Yeah. Well, I better answer that one.
Yep.
Well, Queen Sirikit Centre is under the umbrella of the Red Cross and Chulalongkorn Hospital. When patients come to us, you can just walk in.
Okay.
Yep, and you can walk in, and they can be processed just like Chulalongkorn Hospital, and the cost is the same cost at the government hospital. Now, one thing on top of that is when they are our patients, we tend to do things more than the average hospital. This is our own doing. And very often when patient can't afford it, we find ways of trying to support it. This we can't make it, you know, we can't broadcast it publicly because we have to find the funding to support it. But when patients come to us, they get this additional built-in. Our philosophy is all patients at our centre are treated equally.
Equally.
So if they're missing something, we'll find ways of serving it.
Khunying, what about the underprivileged patients? How are they, or how do they participate in, you know, to be under your foundation and to get it treated?
We do it about, we should be doing
With
it
free of
every
charge?
4 times a year that we go into different communities.
Right.
But because of COVID, we had to sort of delay that. We're a little bit limited because I raise the money before, and then I go into a certain community, as I said, and I find out who is the most deserving. I wish I was a billionaire, then that would
You can offer to anyone?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would be,
Precisely.
I would, yes, that would be
You have
wonderful.
to be a little bit selective who needs most.
Yeah.
Then
Right.
we, of
We
course.
need the most.
But
Which I
if
was
they have,
trying to
but
explain
if they have
before.
cancer and they can't
Yeah.
manage it, we'll do something.
Yeah,
We've never left anybody
out.
out.
Yeah. And if we find even younger women who have issues, then of course they can come in as well. And of course we do cervical cancer as well.
Oh.
So we you know, not here, but I should mention them, the Chulalongkorn
the
gynecology
department,
help us
they
out,
come and joins us
Oh,
on the
wow.
day.
Wow. So we club together.
so they have breast and cervical
Yeah.
as well.
And we
Yeah.
teach them as well
Yeah.
when we go into the community. As I said, we give them a fun lecture with prizes.
Right.
And we do a questionnaire, so the before and after, so we actually know whether they've understood a word that we've been saying. And that's our lovely Queen Sirikit nursing team and the young doctors as well. And they do it out of their hours, their normal hours. So we're very appreciative of what they do. It's quite fun. You've got to come when we do it. It's
I would
bedlam.
love to.
The children running around. It's
when we
lovely.
have the
Great
day,
fun.
come and see what we do.
What we do. Yeah.
That will be in another report.
Yeah.
But for patients who are interested and who would like to get checked and get the treatment,
They
or
can literally walk into
in here.
to the
Yeah.
Queen Sirikit Centre, 110 building, and we have our staff to cater for that.
Yeah.
And what about your foundation, Khunying?
About-
For anyone who is interested to participate or to donate and to help contributing
Oh,
to the
that'd be-
community, to the center,
That'd be wonderful.
and to those people in need, where
Well-
can they find the information about that?
Well, we have I was going to say we have a foundation which we could perhaps give to you at the end. You could perhaps put up at the end, and we really, really value donations. That would be fantastic. So I can give you the account. We have the Queen Sirikit Centre Foundation, and they have bank accounts and properly organised.
You have the website too, right?
We have a website, we do, but I can give you the information. Absolutely. We didn't mention Pink Park actually. That was a
Ban
Oh, yeah.
King Park Village.
Yeah, Ban, yes. Do you want to talk about that? It's
Yes.
another of our
You see,
projects.
That again
Yeah.
developed from our experience with Khunying's project. Now, when we went into slum and we found some poor patients
In need.
are in need, and sometimes not often, you can't just admit them into the hospital, acute hospital. You need somewhere where they can have nursing care without an acute treatment. And so eventually we talked about, cut long story short, we were given a piece of land, 125 rai, and we wanted to build a hospice as well as somewhere where patients who need treatment and have nowhere to stay come from up country to stay. And we built it in a way, we've done it at a premium level. And some people may think that we've overdone it, but our view is these patients, these poor patients, they were
Deserve
born
it.
poor and they have had an awful life and they've got a disease which is killing them and nobody looking after them. I mean, I don't know whether heaven or hell exists or not, but what we're trying to do is we want to build somewhere where patients, before they die, they can come and be treated, be looked after, as if they can, well, our breach to our staff is that we want them to be in heaven before they die.
They deserve all the treatment that they're entitled for.
That's our
Another point I think which is quite valuable about it is that sometimes because they are so poor, you can't discharge them. Say they've had surgery treatment here, it's difficult to discharge someone home to a really
There's no hope.
poor community, which is really, I mean, in some cases I've just seen, placards like when
Right.
you're advertising for the
election.
What's election?
and
you
then
know,
they
those
use
big
that to build their
faces and
houses.
Cardboard.
that's all there
Cardboard.
is. So how can you send someone home to that? So it's kind of like a stopgap place for them to recover fully and convalesce and get better. But also then it frees up the beds in an acute hospital
It
like
helps.
this
Right.
because more people need to come in. So yeah, I think it's a valuable project.
Where is this place?
in Minbury.
In Minbury.
And it's
Minbury.
totally no charge.
But that will be, and for that, you'll have a very specialist screening committee, not us, around the country, probably through the Thai Red Cross primarily.
The Thai Red Cross
yeah.
and our committee to select the patient because
Yeah.
it's totally free of charge, you see.
And if a
So-
patient would like to be part of it, where can they?
Well, normally we would ask the doctors or people looking after them to send
To
us the
send
information. So the Red Cross network is,
Red
is,
Cross.
is the first step. And then
Right.
we have our own people looking through the detail to see if these patients are suitable. Because the hospital, when they're with us, they stay with us until they die, you see.
So this one is regardless of the nationalities?
Well, no, we've never thought about
We haven't,
nationality
it's funny
or
looking
religions.
at, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, primarily Thai, probably, but we have treated people who were in real trouble from over borders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so if you are interested in get yourself treatment for breast cancer, you can also check out the website of the Queen Sirikit Centre for Breast Cancer. And if you are interested and if you would like to be part or donate to the foundations of the Khunying, you can also check it out on her website as well. For today, Voice of the Nations, we'll have to say goodbye. You can stay tuned with us every week from 8 to 8:30 p.m. You can also check out on our website, nationthailand.com, and our Facebook fan page, Nation Thailand. For now, I am Nina Nirashamlai-Saklami and Khunying
Thank you.
and Dr. Kit who say goodbye for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay.